So they definitely can't have another season, right? They're all suing each other, so they wouldn't be able to film scenes together or discuss anything related to the lawsuits. How would they even manage filming? Every interview with Ariana would probably be, "I can't discuss that right now." Unless Ariana isn't on the show, but I doubt they'd do that. Also, I know Sandoval dropped his cross-complaint, but didn't part of it involve claims about her revealing private information or something? So now she's definitely not going to talk about any of it. I just feel like she wouldn't want to do the show, since it seems like every time she does something, someone else sues her. If they just fired Tom, it would solve the whole problem. No one wants to film with him, which is why season 11 felt so fake. Everyone would get along, to some extent, and Schwartz would be on his own, but still fit in. LVP might need to rebrand TomTom back to Pump, but it's halfway there with the signage already. It's unlikely, but it's fun to think about. Honestly, I'm not sure it would work anymore. Don't hate me, but I definitely think they should let go of Tom. He's one of their worst employees ever, and nobody wants to see him on screen anymore or get updates about his life. Scheana, Lala, and even Brock have damaged the remaining bonds within the group after Tom Sandoval messed up the dynamic. I don't think Katie or Ariana are ready to move on and accept Lala's behavior as friendship. I don't think Lala will apologize for anything. Her credibility is beyond repair. Katie will probably never be able to have a genuine friendship with Scheana again, and Ariana likely protects her relationship with Scheana by keeping it private and processing her feelings in her own way. I'm not sure what's left for them to do together on screen, with or without Tom Sandoval. For those of you new to Bravo, legal troubles aren't new. Teresa Giudice went to prison and stayed on the show without any issues. I don't think Raquel suing Tom and Ariana will impact the show. There are plenty of reasons to cancel, but that isn't one of them. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Spill Chronicles. It's me, Ramona here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. I feel like no one on the show is showing their real lives anymore. Tom trying to get production to focus on his and Ariana's problems because he felt bad they weren't sharing everything seems a bit off. Also, all the discussions about how Ariana doesn't treat him well. It's clear he was trying to create a narrative for their eventual breakup. None of these people are showing their true lives. In the most recent season, everyone keeps saying they need to have these conversations. But aren't they supposed to just show their real lives? If they truly weren't going to talk to him, then not talking to him should have been part of the filming. The other cast members keep revealing that what we're seeing is for the show, not real life. It's so forced now, and without a common workplace, the interactions feel even more fake. The main drama of the show has shifted to being about the show itself, which isn't interesting. It's almost comical that Tom asked production to show more of the real side of his and Ariana's relationship while he was actively hiding an affair. It seems like a transparent attempt to portray Ariana as an unloving girlfriend. Even if he was being genuine, why would he bring this up during a season when his girlfriend of nearly a decade was dealing with significant personal losses? Despite everything Ariana was going through, he was willing to expose her to criticism and scrutiny about their relationship just to plant seeds for his own protection when the affair or a separation eventually came to light. The issue of hiding real-life problems from the audience has been a long-standing complaint from both the cast and viewers. They hid a lot to protect their brand, which is why people were shocked when Sandoval broke. Viewers thought they were a united front because that was the image Ariana and Tom projected. The cracks were starting to show the season before the scandal, and they're noticeable on rewatching older seasons too. Lala and Scheana saw it early on and tried to talk to Ariana, but she dismissed them. And just to clarify, this doesn't excuse Tom's cheating. I don't support him or Raquel, and I don't hate Ariana. These are just the facts. Apologies if this has already been discussed. I just saw that Ariana recently hit 2.4 million followers on Instagram. When Love Island USA premiered, she was at 2.2 million. So how long until Lala buys enough followers to reach 2.5 million? How does Lala expect us to believe she has 2.4 million legitimate followers? It's absolutely ridiculous. Her follower increase is in line with what we'd expect from her exposure on Love Island USA. If Lala's growth matches that rate, it's definitely suspicious. Once Love Island USA starts airing in international markets, she'll likely see a significant boost and will probably surpass Lauren from Utah. There's a lot of crossover with Bravo fans in the US, and more people in the UK will be exposed to her for the first time, though there are Bravo fans in the UK too. Honestly, Ariana is probably the most normal of the bunch. She seems like the voice of reason and someone most of us can relate to. Hopefully, this is the start of a new chapter where she's known for more than just Vanderpump Rules. Season 4 Scheana is the epitome of a pick-me girl. I'm rewatching just for fun, and I've realized how gross Scheana's behavior towards other women really is. She repeatedly says, "I'm not a feminist," as if it's a bad thing, or as if being a feminist means being an extremist. When Jax is eyeing Lala while he's dating Brittany, Scheana comments, "Just get her really drunk." Ew, encouraging a man to take advantage of a woman is disgusting. Scheana has always put Ariana last, constantly befriending people who have treated her friend badly. She doesn't have to pick sides, but she shows no regard for anyone's feelings. She's always talking about being more of a guy's girl. I don't understand why she'd prefer the approval of the men in the group over the women. Don't get me wrong, all the women in the early seasons are very much pick-me or cool girls, like Ariana being okay with Tom's behavior or Kristen encouraging Jax's antics. They're all cringy, but Scheana stands out as the most cringeworthy. It's not just season 4, she's the definition of a troll. I'm using that term deliberately since she's mentioned it as one of the worst things someone could call her, and you know she reads comments. Capital TROLL. Scheana is a textbook pick-me girl in the early seasons and still is now, though she hides it a bit better. Season 11 isn't a great example of that. Her problem seems to be that she fundamentally needs male attention and validation, leading her to engage in pick-me behaviors to get it. She thinks it's impressive to get along with the guys and fit in with them, but that usually means making excuses for their bad behavior. I went to the VPR bars last night, so here's my rating. Note that I've already been to SA, so this review is strictly about the bars. SUR. We arrived kind of early, and I saw Peter, so I got a pic with him. Super nice guy. I didn't realize they had a happy hour, which was a pleasant surprise. I had 4 drinks but barely felt a buzz. The cheese balls were ridiculously cheesy, and those SUR dresses are definitely not for the faint of heart. Overall, I'd give it a 7/10. Tom Tom. This was the best stop of the night. The drinks were strong, the bartender was great, and the vibe was awesome. It was packed, and the tater tots were perfectly crispy. I also saw Logan working hard, a 10/10 for sure. The waiter mentioned that Tom and Tom are not really in charge. Lisa is. Schwartz and Sandy's. I didn't really want to go, but it was my sister's birthday, so I tagged along. It's pretty far from the other bars. Max was my bartender, and he was super nice, even helping me carry my drinks to the table. However, the place was dead. Only a few booths were occupied, which was surprising for a Saturday night. The decor was cool though. My cousin, who's a bartender, mentioned that people from S&S had come into his bar to warn them about liquor license checks because S&S had already been fined for not checking IDs. I'd rate it 7/10. Jax's. By this point, I was pretty drunk, and Jax's was also dead. I just had a beer and didn't find anything special about it. I'd give it a 5/10. It looks like Schwartz and Sandy's might not be around much longer. Even dedicated fans are barely adding it to their birthday or bachelorette bar crawls. Jax's seems to be generating more buzz despite its low vibe. I'm honestly surprised Schwartz and Sandy's is still open. They must be losing a lot of money, and even if they bought Sandoval out, I think it's a lost cause. On the other hand, Jax's, with its low investment and mostly profit, will probably outlast S&S. It's the go-to spot for seeing a current or former EPR cast member. Tom's mom is never going to see that $250,000 she lent him, and it's wild how casually he handles it. She must be furious. Schwartz and Sandy's has a terrible name, and probably would have struggled even without Scandoval. I haven't been there myself, but I loved everything about SUR. I saw LVP having a meeting in the garden and had to resist the urge to interrupt because I just love her. Raquel was our waitress. She's very tall and a bit nervous. I'm European, so I probably won't go back, but I stocked up on the scented candles because they smell amazing, especially the white ones. TomTom definitely seems like a great place to visit. Scheana's lightning bolt tattoo. I apologize in advance if this has already been discussed. I've seen various conspiracy theories about Sandoval and Scheana over the years, but I was never fully convinced. I just couldn't see Scheana keeping such a big secret, especially for so long. However, during my rewatch, I noticed her lightning bolt tattoo on her left wrist. It's simple and small, but it really stood out to me. I know this might sound like a crazy conspiracy, but I found it interesting. Does anyone know how long Scheana has had this tattoo? I hate that now, every time I see a lightning bolt, I immediately think of Sandoval. Regardless of what people say about Scheana, I don't believe she would hook up with a friend's boyfriend. She did have a sexual relationship with a married man years ago, but that was almost 2 decades ago when she was very young. There's a lot of focus on power imbalances and grooming, but people often overlook that Eddie was much older, more experienced, and better connected. Scheana clearly seeks male validation, but there's no real evidence that she has been unfaithful in her relationships. She seems dedicated to her partners and doesn't act inappropriately with other men. When she's single, she doesn't pursue people who are already in relationships. Scheana's main issue seems to be her need for approval. She cares too much about what everyone thinks, so she tries to meet the expectations of whoever she's with. While she can be catty and difficult at times, so can everyone else. Raquel's personality makeover. What happened to Raquel? I recently binged all the seasons after starting with season 10, and I'm struck by how different she seems. In seasons 5 to 9, she appeared so timid and meek, like a deer in headlights. Then in season 10, she's a completely different person, reveling in drama and attention. Is this change due to being away from James after 5 years, or was she always like this? Could drugs or alcohol be a factor? She mentioned on her podcast that she acted out of character that season, but I'm not sure. It's fascinating to watch. If you watch her closely in earlier seasons, you can see signs of manipulation. For example, when she misses her shift during Pride, she tries to make Peter feel guilty, but he doesn't fall for it. She also makes snide remarks, though she often says them in a baby voice. I think the shift in her behavior can be attributed to her role on the show. In seasons 5 to 9, she was primarily known as James's girlfriend and didn't need to justify her place. After their breakup, if she wanted to stay on the show, she needed to prove herself as a character worth watching. Sandoval might have also given her tips on how to stir up drama. Even if her behavior was partly for the show, I believe she genuinely enjoyed creating drama. She seems to struggle with forming real connections and may lack empathy due to her shallow and empty inner world. I've been thinking about this too. She was so sweet and charming in season 5. I'm currently watching that season, but the transformation by season 10 is stark. It's a shame she never pursued her dream of becoming an occupational therapist. Season 5 Raquel seemed like she would have been great working with kids. I started rewatching the show for the first time, and I'm only on season 2, but I forgot how bad it really was. Specifically, Katie and Schwartz's dynamic is incredibly troubling. I remember the incident where Schwartz dumped a drink on Katie's head, which, as we now know, had to be re-recorded. How messed up is that? But seeing it again brings back just how awful Schwartz's behavior was. The way he spoke to Katie afterward, when she was genuinely upset, was repugnant. She was sobbing because her boyfriend had just dumped a drink on her, and instead of showing empathy, he gaslit and verbally abused her, even calling her a bitch. It's infuriating to watch. It's also disturbing to see how Schwartz sided with Scheana when she gave Peter a lap dance. It's wild that these men think this behavior is acceptable, probably because they do much worse behind their partners' backs. I know for a fact that if my partner gave someone else a lap dance at a party, I'd be beyond furious. Regarding Scheana, this was around the time she and Schwartz made out in Vegas. I'm skeptical of her claim that it was unwanted because A, she has a documented history of seeking revenge for perceived slights and was clearly aiming to get back at Katie. B, she brought it up to Schwartz as a joke and used the term make out, and C, at the season 11 reunion, she boasted about how all the guys had wanted her. If Max Boyens tried to pursue her again, I'm sure she'd be open to it. Scheana seems to need male validation to feel valued, and for her, that often translates to seeking out sexual attention. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.